This is Richard back at you. Today we got James's 90 model Dodge Charger in the house. I wanted to kind of specify Charger because a lot of people think car Charger. Nope, a Dodge Charger. 4-wheel drive, 5.9 liter, like I said, 4-wheel drive, overdrive, non-lockup, guys. That's kind of weird being a 90 model. We got Trent looking like he's busy. We've been busy all week. We got Cody working hard. Cody, working hard. So we're really busy here at the shop, definitely. Got a lot of things going on. But anyway, we got this 518 in here, non-lockup tranny. Very seldom do you see a non-lockup transmission in a vehicle, especially in a 90 model. But let me show you a little bit something here, how you can identify this. This here's a 518 tranny. It's got a 2-wire connector down in here. You can see that down in here, Teresa? They also make a 3-wire connector. One for overdrive, one for lockup, one for the power. So this one here has got a power and an overdrive only. So just one solenoid inside the tranny. If you come here and look, we have our splines all the way out the end. If you look at a lockup shaft, our splines stop here and then our lockup seal goes here. Now this is an aftermarket shaft here, a billet shaft, and this here is an aftermarket non-lockup billet shaft. You can see the difference. Pretty crazy how they do that stuff, but that is a lockup compared to a non-lockup. So valve body will be different. Everything inside will be totally different in this unit here. So now we still, like this one here, the 3-speed part of it is still going to work by your detent cable, your passing gear cable, your passing gear rod, just like a 700 transmission 4L60 tranny. That TV cable that you always talk about, this is the same thing on this tranny. If you leave this unhooked, this tranny will burn up just like a 700 will burn up. So it has to be installed and adjusted correctly. So get this off here really quick and get it out of the way. Now this here is your physical linkage here. Park, reverse, neutral drive. Now we have our neutral safety switch here, which is going to be your backup lights, your neutral light, and your park. We're starting park, starting neutral, and then your reverse backup lights. So that's what this is here. Pretty simple. Now we're going to get our overdrive housing off first. Now, I'm not really sure what this tranny was doing offhand. I think leaking everywhere and a little bit of that and a little bit of this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get our little wire snap ring out of here that holds your plates in. That way you can assemble it. That's basically all that does, is just hold the clutch pack in there. That way you can put the two pieces together. Now we're going to have a 4 clutch pack here. Now what we're going to do, we're going to get rid of this apply plate right here, and we're going to add another set of clutches in here. We'll add another set of clutches and steels to this, and then we'll end up with a steel as the last one instead of this apply plate. That way we can get 5 clutches in this overdrive pack for him. It's a simple upgrade. We don't charge them for it. It just keeps comebacks from coming back into our shop, and we can upgrade this stuff like that. So you're going to have a wavy snap ring down in here next that's going to come out. And then you're going to have a flat snap ring come out next. Now, if you notice how they have these snap rings in this big opening right here, always try to put your ends of your snap ring in an area where the end's under this and under this right here. Don't let it hang out like that right there, because that's how they break off. So try to put that in here kind of like that. Well, this is under here and this is under here. Like that, let that open part hang like that. So, and we have our tungsten bearing here. Now our bearing backing plate kit we got here, that will be going back here in the overdrive section. I say very seldom see that replaced, but we replace every one of them. Now normally I'll come in here and tap that a little bit before I take the bolts loose. I've already done that, I just did it off camera. But kind of give that a little smack here and it loosens them up just enough where you don't break your torque socket off getting it out. So, makes it real easy. Now this overdrive housing is going to have a governor assembly in it. This don't have electronics that make it upshift or downshift. It's all done hydraulically. So now this is our direct clutch here, our overdrive planetary and everything's in here, our backing plate. Now here's our governor assembly. You don't see that on the 48 REs and 47s and stuff like that because all this stuff is missing. You have electronic governor pressure sensor, you have electronic governor pressure solenoid on the valve body that controls all that stuff. So totally different setup here. I was going to take that apart and show you, but my press is out of commission right now. I got it moved from over there to the side. But if you look here, they also, it's a totally different tail housing, stuff like that. They added a sleeve in here for your governor sealing rings. They got governor feed tubes. So, pretty simple. You want to still look in here for the snap ring to be wearing in the, let me get this out. You can look here, these will wear on both sides. Any type of wear. I'm going to look down in here for any type of wear too in this snap ring area. Right down through here. A lot of times you'll see a step worn back in here like that. This snap ring groove looks really, really nice. Normally we'll put a case saver in there. Whether the groove's bad or not, that way we know it can never go bad. It'll always set up against that case saver. I'm going to have to look at the transfer case here to make sure that there ain't supposed to be a seal in here. We're going to have to look at that transfer case because a lot of these have a seal right here that keeps the fluid from going in. Because if you look here, see if it has that drain built into it right here. If it has a drain groove built into this housing right here, then we know
it does.
It's got something right here starting to do. See that? So if this seal goes bad or anything like that, it'll drain out onto the ground and you'll know that seal's bad right there. So that tells me that this little orange seal goes right here and they didn't put it in there.
Nope.
So I'm going to look and make sure before we put the transfer case in. I have to verify if there's a seal that goes there. But 99% sure.
Looks like they pulled it up with silicone.
Yeah, they did, didn't they?
They got away, couldn't they?
Well, but there's a seal in the transfer case too, but it's only a one-way seal. It'll keep the fluid from coming out of the transfer case back into the tranny. So this tranny could be going low and overfilling the transfer case because they only had a one-sided seal in it. So now if you notice here, your rear case support has governor feed holes in it. Okay. Well, if you got a 48E one, 48RE, no governor, it has no holes. See that? Now the new case support here that we got, overdrive support, it'll come with little plugs that we put in here. If we're using a 48RE, if we're going to use a 518 non-lockup or something like that, we will not plug it because we'll need them holes. So it's basically a universal style. This will only fit one, which would be the 48RE. So pretty simple. The pistons are the same on the overdrive piston and stuff like that. On the 48 to the 518, there's no change. Get that out of there. Now you get this spacer right here. This spacer is selective. And this here is how you control your clearance between your overdrive clutch and your direct clutch. Because this piston right here applies your overdrive clutch, and it also pushes off your overdrive direct clutch at the same time. So that timing right there has got to be perfect when you set your clearances and stuff. If not, you'll have one clutch on while you're pushing one clutch off. So I think I said that right. You'll have one clutch on while the other one's trying to push off. Make sure I said that right. We have our band adjustment here for our intermediate. Like I said, they vary depending on just read your instructions. Your Transtar overhaul kit will come with paperwork in their kits that gives you all your band adjustments and stuff like that. They do vary from 47, 48s down to these 518s. So you can see here. Oh, got a nice little pan there. Didn't realize it had funny bolts in there. I'd have took out half of them for you guys, so you don't have to watch me take bolts out. Got a nice BM pan. E&M, they've been around a long time. I mean, back since I was a kid. I guess they're still going strong. Gotta get them all. Am I missing one? Missing one. Boy, that's got a smell. This thing's got like 5 bottles of additive in it to make it work, and that ain't gonna help this one. But this thing's got a smell, alcohol, all kinds of stuff in it.
Well, the fluid looked different, actually.
Yeah, it's real slippery. Really strong smell. Now we have a deep pan, so we're going to have an adapter to get the filter to the bottom of the pan. So should be something under here. That filter is totally stopped up though. I mean, there ain't nothing left that filter.
He was having it. It's written on the paperwork.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh.
Guys, if you could smell this tranny right here, it don't smell burnt, but it's got some additive in it from ever. I mean, it's full of it. Now this is your overdrive solenoid here. Really simple tranny. Got your overdrive accumulator here. I know I didn't put that band like that, and I know me taking that anchor out of that didn't make that band do that. So I don't know what's going on here. We can kind of go in there a little bit real quick, see what we got inside. Go in here and look at our overdrive piston and accumulator and see if we got any springs broke or, well, that's about the weakest 4th gear accumulator spring I've ever seen. Normally, this is, where'd it go? This is your Dodge Diesel 4th gear accumulator spring. This is a gas one. So we're gonna have to do something about that. Like I said, we're gonna add that one extra clutch to 4th gear. So you gotta remember that's gonna firm it up just a little bit too, just by doing that. So start messing with a lot of areas to firm something up just by adding that one clutch can be a big deal.
But still have longevity, durability.
Yeah. Now we're going to put a Sonex pressure regulator valve in this thing. It's got the full loop circuit built into the valve, so that'll help this thing out on lubrication. This truck's being a 90 model, it needs all the updates to it that you can put in it. It's not going to have nothing. Like I said, this could have been touched before. It looks like it has an aftermarket manual valve, so the farther you get into them, the more it starts revealing somebody's been in here playing. Now we have our overdrive assembly here. It's crazy. The lockup valve is totally missing out of here. It's not even in the hole. The bore's there, but see, it's blank. So it's a plate, not even functionable.
Is it supposed to be there?
Well, this is a 3-speed non-lockup, so if we wanted to go back and make this lockup, we physically could put a different pump in here, different converter, do some circuitry on the valve body, put a toggle switch in the vehicle, and he could lock it up with a toggle switch. So it's pretty simple to do. We'd put a 2 solenoids on here. I could probably put a valve in here and physically make this function. So, plate. No check ball here. This is a really early. We're going to get in here and look and see if they did any modifications to the plate. Your 3rd gear feed hole is big here, small here. That tells me they didn't drill anything here. You can look here and see your intermediate feed hole right here. It's just a stock size too. Now, if you notice how we have a big hole and little hole here. Now, on this plate here, they restrict your 3rd gear feed oil in 2 places, this one and this one. So you can drill this one as big as you want to. You could drill it that big and it wouldn't matter because this one here is still that little. See, they're restricting it. So they put this one big and actually fed the clutch through here. So we're going to leave this one that size and beef it up. Not quite that big, but we are going to make this hole just a little bit bigger. And we're going to come in here and open our 2nd gear feed too a little bit bigger, firming up 2nd gear just a little bit. So I wish we had some lockup to play with because we'd be playing with lockup too. We enjoy doing that. Oops. Of course, all of our check balls are still in all their locations. Your troughs. Now we will be putting a little bullet looking thing in here that comes in our Transgo kit. Put all of our check balls back in the locations. Now we're going to look here and make sure no holes have been drilled through this loop circuit here. Because our Sonex pressure regulator valve is going to go through here and we don't want any type of holes or anything like that. So we want it to do its thing. That's what we pay it for. Right, Teresa? That's what we pay it for. So, now, normally this would be your lockup valve here. It's actually there, but it's dummied through here. So they're probably using that just to keep the converter full and stuff like that. So you got your TV valve. You mainly want to look in here, clean this up really good. These valves are coated. And look and see if the coating's coming off on any of the tips of the valves or anything like that. If they are, go get you a new steel valve or another nice coated valve that has a lot better looking coating on it. So, pretty simple.
Sure the paperwork says that this has converter drain back. It says converter drain back hangs in first.
Yeah. Well, the converter drain back, I mean, that's a problem with Chrysler, been that way all the time. So
Yeah.
our Sonex valves and stuff that we're putting in the valve body is going to try to correct a lot of that converter drain back, and also making sure you got tight pump gears and a tight stator bushing, because if they're loose in these 2 places, that valve and the valve body stuff might not help you none at all. So you want to do that. Make sure you got a good tight stator bushing, good tight pump gears, stuff like that. So Now he said this was hanging. I think this band's broken or something's broke down in there. Let me get my needle and those pliers and see if I can get down in there. I think either the band broke or he didn't get it adjusted right and the band strut fell out. I haven't found the strut, so I don't even know where it's at. So we might not get this out. Yeah, we're not going to get it. I'll take it out the front. Now we have our 1-2 accumulator and spring here. Now we are going to put a different spring in here for the shift kit, which will firm up second gear just a little bit. We have our shifter shaft seal here that we're going to knock out. Replace all that stuff. Nice and pretty. Now this is our reverse band servo here. This is how you adjust your rear band right here. It's not a double wrap, it's a single wrap style band, so it does take different clearances and stuff like that. So now they must make 2 different bands for this year, because Raymond sent me 2 bands from Transtar. He always covers both areas. I mean, if he got any idea that it's going to hold me up and on a different band, he'll send both of them no matter what, because we can always send it back, and that way we can get this job out without having to wait on him to ship me another band. I'm telling you guys, Raymond at Transtar is one sharp guy. I mean, I'm really glad to know that man. Let me tell you, I've never met him. I think we've met on the phone, and I think we've seen a couple pictures of each other, but that's about it. But let me tell you, it's been really appreciative to be able to work with that man for that long. And we got our pump bolts. All of our pump bolts have washers on them. We'll change the washers out. We'll still put a little bit of silicone on here. That way we just double seal that bolt. Make sure it doesn't leak. Now if you notice down in here, this is the vent tube or vent hole for the Chrysler transmission. There's no vent hose on the outside of the case like your 4L60Es, your 700s, your 350s, your 400s and stuff like that. It's not there. It's right here. So if we ever build a 4-wheel drive vehicle that's going to go underwater, getting real deep mud and stuff like that, we'll take and plug this hole right here completely up. We'll tap it and plug it, and we'll come in here and put a plug or a pipe fitting in the top of the transmission case, and then we'll run a line all the way up to the brake booster and put a vent on top. That way there's no water can ever get in this tranny if he even submerged it. So we do that quite a bit for guys that play here, because we got a river just down the street here. And
Well, he didn't say nothing about doing that. So I think this is like a daily drive.
yes, we're not going to be doing that, but I just like to throw everything in there. That way people know what they can get away with.
Sure.
Yeah, you asked me to do it, I'm going to do it for you. Now you can see our vent here. This is the vent that comes out the top of the tranny. You can pour water in there and it'll come right out here and go right into the tranny. So these things don't take much water to get depth of water to get in here. Plug that hole right there. You can knock this off right here, put a tap here, plug it, and drill a hole in top of your case right here, run a hose all the way to the top. So now this is the stator bushing I was talking about. If this bushing gets wore right here, you can have converter drain back real bad. And that's about the smallest, cheapest looking pump gear I've ever seen. I tell you, when Chrysler built their gas pumps, I mean, they really had to upgrade them to make this pump work in a diesel. Let me tell you. But I think my pump gears I got are actually wrong. I think they're a little large. Let me see if they fit in here. You never know, they could have changed it. Nope, won't go. So I have to get back a hold of Raymond and talk to him, because let me tell you guys, gears, pump gears and stuff like that, this stuff is getting hard to find. I mean, I'm getting it from coast to coast to coast to coast. So, but you can see the difference in the two. This is more of a diesel style. This is a gas. Kind of crazy, small anchors on a diesel, big anchors on a gas, but look at the size of the pump. I mean, this pump hardly moves very little gallons per minute, I guess you could say, compared to this one here. So, got to get on that really quick. It does have the dimpled bushing in it that Chrysler puts in them. That way this bushing stays really lubricated. It holds oil in these pockets to keep it lubricated. You don't see much wear in these Chrysler pumps though through here. I mean, Chrysler really does still have a good pump. Let's see if we can put our billet input shaft in here. The bushing here changed. So if this will slide on there, it'll fit. Look at that, guys. Got a nice used billet input shaft that customer might want. You never know. Now the bushing size on this one is a bigger size. Will not go. So the 4748 REs, they changed the bushing on the input shaft, made the shaft bigger. On the earlier models, they're smaller. But believe me, this small shaft will still hold. I mean, my diesel Dodge truck made 687, 1,400 foot-pounds of torque at 2,400 RPM with that little bitty shaft. So, and it's been in our dually, yeah. And it's been in there a long time, So, I don't know what really happened, why that band looks like that. Now, there's a piece missing I ain't found yet. But anyway, this is our second gear drum. The band goes around this. You got your high reverse clutch in here. Now we do have a wavy plate or snap ring here for your high clutch. And then we just have a 4 clutch high gear. Now this tranny, same way, it's got a high snap ring groove. In other words, it's at the very top of the drum. So you can get rid of that big thick top hat and actually put a thin one in there and add more clutches in there. So we should be able to get 5 clutches in this drum since the snap ring's it's up at the top. So anything 4-wheel drive, we want to help them out. That way we know our tranny's not going to come back. New new drum bushing here. Come in here. You can see the shiny marks here. That's not wear, it's just where the rings have been running. You can't feel anything, but come in here and Scotch-Brite that up where you can't see that all the way around. Make that new ring seat in a lot better. Pretty simple. So you want to look at these sealing rings here because these are your forward sealing rings here. Your converter feed sealing rings here. The newer ones I kind of like a little bit better. They actually overlap each other instead of just a square cut, like a straight cut like that. They actually overlap each other a little bit like that and come across. So they, to me, seals a lot better. And you have a sealing ring here. Now, on our pump stator sealing rings, a lot of these rings here were cast. Now the ones in our Transco kit are stainless. So if you do have stainless laying around, put them on here. Don't use the cast because the stainless will last a lot longer. Now this washer right here is selective. This is another one that's selective. We have another washer right here that is selective, the 3-tab. And then we have our forward clutch. Now there's only going to be 4 clutches in your forward. But believe it or not, that 4 clutches, guys, will hold a ton. I mean, 4 clutches probably hold 1,800 foot-pounds of torque. So that tells you how strong that forward clutch is. Now on this wave plate here, or excuse me, let's go back here. This is plastic. They do make metal ones in the later 3-speeds you can get a hold of. Put it in there if you want to, but the plastic does still work fine. They make 2 kinds of these. Look on the wall and see if I can show you another version. This one here, to me, is the better version. The other ones, they're a lot thinner through here. The fingers are thinner. To me, this is a lot better one to apply the clutch. And you have your forward piston. Now, on this one here, you got to be careful because your forward seal and your overdrive seal almost look identical, except your forward clutch seal has a long lip on it. Your overdrive seal has a short one, and they were almost interchanged. So you can almost poke them in the hole and make them work. So same way with this one, shortcut seal here. So I just remember my shortcut seal goes to my overdrive piston, my long cut seal goes to my forward clutch piston. Pretty simple. And then here we have our forward jump, or our forward input shaft. Of course, our forward clutches. Let's see what's going on with this band right here. Oh. Huh. We're still missing a part. I haven't found it yet. So we're missing the struts that go to the band.
Yeah.
That holds them, that hooks them up.
Right.
We're missing the lever that goes here. And we're missing the piece that hooks onto here that goes to the band here and here.
I wonder if it was ever in there.
I don't know. Let's see if we can get this out and see if we can find something. Oh, not there yet. Now,
Can't imagine it being in there.
that's,
Not finding it in pieces.
yeah, I don't understand that. What is going on here? Now, being a gas, you can see here we have the aluminum planetaries. Where if it was a diesel, early diesel, you could find that too. But it was something we would replace automatically. We'd get rid of them. Now, being that it's a gas, we're not going to worry about it. Doesn't make enough torque, anything like that, to strip the aluminum planet. So you mainly want to look for any type of pin wear, wobbling, stuff like that. Look at your gears on both sides. Look at your splines in here. Got 4 tab here, 3 tab here. You can kind of see the 3 tab sets on your shell like that. Your 4 tab goes on your planet. If you got a 5 tab, you're gonna have a 5 tab washer. Or if you got a 6 gear or 4 gear, you're gonna have a 4 tab washer. You got a 6 gear, you're gonna have a 6 tab washer. I mean, that's how they do it. So pretty simple. You can come in here and buff this with your buffer. Get that shiny out there. Same way here. That way your new thrust washer has somewhere to run. You can see here that band's been grinding on the shell. Have another 3 tab washer. We have our sun gear here. Now these are hard to look at when they're physically in here. We take them apart, take the snap ring out, take them apart, look at both sides of your gears. Because it's really kind of hard to get in here and look to see really good on both sides without pulling it apart and looking at it. Now this is a brand new one we're going to be putting in here because 99.9% of them need new ones. So, and then of course we have our overdrive sun gear too. Now being that this is the early design, the pitch on this gear is going to be really laid over. The 47, 48 RE diesels, they took and stood the pitch up. A lot less forward and backwards thrust on the Planetary and stuff like that when they stood that gear up a little bit more. So Chrysler had to learn a little bit. You know, when they first come out, they had straight cuts in these, and they worked really nice, but they had that little bit of a whine when it went into overdrive. So they had to get rid of that really quick. So, but since we got a 3-pinion gear Planetary in the back right here, we're going to go ahead and put a 4-pinion in here. I was looking to see if I had one laying right in front of me to grab to show you what it looked like. You can see here a 3-pinion, a 4-pinion. Sorry guys, we had a little bit of camera malfunction there for a minute. We didn't delete enough footage to have enough room. So, but anyway, I don't know if I showed you, but the 3-pinion, your 4-pinion planet will interchange. All you got to do is find you a 4-tab washer to fit on here instead of a 3-tab, because that's basically all they did. So you can upgrade that to a 4-tab washer. You're going to make sure your thrust washer on the bottom is good looking, because your planet physically has no thrust washer on the bottom. The planet is the washer. So just like on this planet here, you want to come in here and look and make sure you're good. Now you can see here we have a lip right there. That tells you how much wear we have on this 4-pinion planet already. So this planet is no good. Anytime you get that dip like that, the planet's got so much wear on it, it's no good. You come over here and look. 3 pinions, a little bit different design compared to that, but still right here is where your washer runs on this right through here. Pretty simple. We got our output shaft. You want to Scotch-Brite all this stuff up, make it look really shiny. You have another thrust selective spacer here. Okay, this tranny here has the most places that I think that you can physically set a transmission up. This one right here. Now you got a snap ring there. Now when I pull this reverse drum off, you notice no washer come out like your 48 REs have a 2-tab plastic washer. It doesn't exist right there. They didn't add it. So the snap ring physically is the washer. Kind of different there. We have our reverse band down in here. Looks decent. Got a little bit of pitting on the edges and stuff. Like I said, Raymond sent me 2 different bands. That way I could match my band up and make sure it's right. Now you do have a band tab that sits in here like this that comes over here and locks into your lever. Okay, pretty simple. We're going to get this. Oops, I didn't take the bolts out of it. I guess I ought to do that first. We're still missing pieces in here. So we need to get that rear case support out and get that sprag out of there. That way it doesn't fall.
Well, it can't be in there.
No, it's not in there.
There's not enough room.
I think whoever built this tranny, guys, forgot that part. I don't know, but the main thing on these is you want to get in here and look where that drum runs at, because your rear cooler line oil comes through here, through the back of the case, and lubricates all this stuff back here first, right off the bat. They have to flood it. And you can see here where it already started trying to melt it. Trash gets in here. It's first thing it's going to do is go right through here. It comes out of your torque converter, goes to your cooling system, comes back as cool lubrication oil, comes to your rear cooler line, comes to this circuit here, comes to this hole here, lubricates your output shaft, lubricates this drum right through here. You can see here there's some aluminum attached to it right here. We might be able to get that off. The drum looks really good still. We can get in here and clean that aluminum off and it'll probably be good. But we're definitely going to have to put a new case support. Now, anytime we get a new one in here, we're going to come in here and still drill this feed hole just a little bit more. We're going to try to flood this with oil, even a little bit more than factory. Now, our Sonex PR valve 2, a full-time lube valve, is going to help that also. It's going to put a lot more lubrication oil in the circuit where this tranny lubricates really good. So, of course, we have our sprag assembly here. Now, this assembly here will totally fall apart. Now, your 48 REs and stuff like that, they come out in one piece. With this one here, when I pull it, it's going to just fall apart. We'll take and try to put my hand down in here and grab it all. Got a bunch of springs and rollers.
Yeah, I got a few more down.
Oh yeah. That's how I have we'll put a kit in here that actually comes with all the springs and stuff. So. Well, guys, we never found our 2 anchors for our second gear band. I totally missed them, but I have them out there in the trailer somewhere. You can see your inner sprag race. You want to Scotch-Brite that up really nice. It'll go either direction. You don't have to worry about putting it in backwards. Just remember, your springs always push your rollers uphill. And then we have our reverse band servo here. Your seal. Now you want to check this for any type of breakage, cracks, or anything around here. We see that happening. Your kit will come possibly with 2 size seals here. You want to match it up. And you have your intermediate servo here.
Hey.
I'm telling you guys, this thing has got all kinds of additive in this tranny. So you don't want to mess this up with your pliers or anything. Make sure it fits nice and smooth still. Scotch-Brite that up even. Put you some new seals on here. Scotch-Brite all this stuff up in here really good so that you can get to. Your accumulator there. Oops. Well, there you go, guys. A 518, non-lockup tranny. In pretty bad shape. I think we have some builder error going on, leaving some parts out. I think if you'd have put that in there, and I think it had second gear in this tranny, would have still been going down the road, because physically I don't see anything that would have stopped it. So, Patricia, thank you definitely for recording again. We appreciate you. Guys, y'all don't forget to subscribe. We definitely got a lot more coming. Y'all have a great day.